Hi everyone, this is a video review of the Cusco Catch Can system for the WRX STI, and I tried to install it on my 2015 and up WRX STI. It's actually a 2017, so pretty new. According to their instructions, this is where you mount the catch can. Comes with all the hardware for that. So you're supposed to take off the ground strap right down there. You can see it on the chassis right there. Take it off, put this mounting bracket on, and I actually reused this bolt because it was actually longer than the kind of yellowish brass bolts that they supplied. So once I got it mounted, I started trying to look up directions on their website on how to route all the hoses, and I started to delve into more what the difference between catch cans and air oil separators were, and found out that according to the Cusco instructions, you're only actually taking in about half of the nasty gases that come out of the breather tube and out of the PCV system of the STI engine, because they actually recommend only running this hose out of the breather and into the catch can, and then you would vent it to atmosphere by using a plug that they supplied right there, that plug. So before, this hose was right here, and it took the gases from the breather tube and would go into this little valve solenoid thing, which then goes down into the turbo inlet. So we took that out. And another thing on these newer STIs, so they don't use any universal clamps. It's just a ring all the way around. So I think that's what Subaru is doing to detect tampering of the car. So whatever, you're gonna need either a Dremel to take that off, or you can use one of those badass angle grinders. So I used the Dremel because as I mentioned, after I did the research into the differences between the catch cans and the air oil separators, is that this catch can only catches half of the gases that come out of the engine. There's actually another source of gases. So before this tube actually connected into here, which is another one of these solenoid valve type gaskets, it's some kind of electronic thing, and it actually connected right in here. So I used the plug that they supplied on that. I took that hose off and then plugged it up so that there's no vacuum leak into the turbo inlet. So once I did that, I used a 1/2 inch diameter, inner diameter splice. So this is a brass piece that you can actually get from Home Depot, and it fits inside the existing PCV hose, and used it to clamp with new PCV hose I got off of Amazon. I'll put a link in the description for that. It's about 25 bucks for, I'm sorry, 35 bucks for about 25 feet. So that was more than enough. The hose that they supplied was actually a piece of junk. Well, it looks very well made. It's reinforced with some kind of metal inside to ensure that it stays rigid. And unfortunately, the inner diameter is actually 5/8 of an inch. So the fittings on the catch can are also 5/8 of an inch. These hoses that I used is actually, that's the leftover. Those are 1/2 inch inner diameter PCV hoses from GM. So what I did was I intercepted both sources of the exhaust gases by using a T. So this loops around here and then tees into the source from the PCV valve, and then that goes into under here, underneath, next to the battery, and into the catch can. And then this is a vacuum, the vacuum line that this used to be connected into. So this is connected to turbo inlet, so that's going to be under vacuum all the time, so it's going to suck any nasty stuff that comes out of these two tubes through the catch can, storing it and preventing all of those nasty things that reduce octane and cause all sorts of problems for the engine. Instead of sending it through the intake and into the intercooler system and all that. So I hope you found this helpful. Yeah, so this is the T. I chose to T it here because these are, 90-degree T's. So I couldn't really fit the T in here and figure out some way of splicing it. So I felt that this was the best spot to do it. And I made sure that when this wiggles, I can probably zip tie it some more, but it doesn't really hit stuff and rub against stuff and, blow up during a track event or something like that. So yeah, you're gonna need to, once you buy the Cusco kit, you're actually gonna need a lot more stuff. You're gonna need the 1/2 inch inner diameter T right there. You're gonna need the 1/2 inner diameter splice. That's also from Home Depot. You're gonna need a bag of hose clamps. I got these because they're a lot beefier than the clamps that Cusco provides. And you're gonna need extra zip ties as well, just trying to fasten everything down. So I used the 2 plus some of my own. Yeah, I think that's it. So it's pretty good. I'm excited to start her up and see how it does. Thanks. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye. Guys, this is Brian again. I forgot to mention that when you install this bracket right here, let me get a light so you can see better. Yeah, so this bracket goes underneath that. I think it's some kind of tubing. It doesn't look like the AC. Could be AC, it could be oil line or something. Anyways, this bracket is pretty thick, so it actually, if you keep this tubing in the stock mount into that little ear thing, it's gonna rub against the bracket eventually and maybe cause a leak. So what I did was I actually took that white thing, mount, and normally it's a C shape, so it kind of hooks in like this into the body, and I rotated it 90, so the hook is kind of like, instead of like this, it's like this now. Yeah, it's like that, and then I put a zip tie around it to hold it into place. Yep, I hope you found this helpful. Pretty cool.